Wash away my shame.
260 kilos, 473 pounds.
Lock it in. Watch your lot. Let's go.
Squat. Come on, man. You got it. Yeah.
Today, lift is good. Williams, 22.5 kilo jumpers opener, 237.5 kilos, 523 pounds.
Lock in.
Squat.
Yep. Light.
What's up, guys? Marcellus Williams, aka TheSwolefessor, here to hit you on health and social well-being. Welcome to episode 10 of A Decade of Craft, my prep series for SBD Austin, the meet that was just this past weekend, where the goal was to come in and PR my total so that I could say that I officially have PR'd my total for all 10 years of my powerlifting career from 2015 all the way through 2025. And as you guys can see, it was not quite the finale that I was hoping for. We quite literally fell a little bit short of the goal. And, it's one of these things where unfortunately I wasn't able to kind of have like the live recording reactions that I wanted. Petrie was there, and he still had to bring his camera, so we got like a couple of snippets of me like post my lifts, but it wasn't like the usual flow of when Mark's able to come through and record everything, so I can give you guys my thoughts as we're going. But honestly, I think it ended up being better this way because I've had time to really think and reflect on how I feel about the day, my performance, and everything like that. The day as a whole was amazing. To be clear, as far as SBD Austin was an amazing meet. Shout out to the SBD USA team. Shout out to Pete Spence as a meet director. It was an amazing production, very good, high quality. It really did feel like shutdown, pre-2020, pre-COVID, like powerlifting. It was awesome, especially the primetime session. That was amazing. And I'll kind of get into that a little bit later in this video. But anyway, at this point, having had time to think and reflect on it, I think the three biggest things I can say is, one, I'm happy with the day overall, in the sense of I'm happy with the calls that were made as far as my coach Brad, and I'm happy with what we were able to do with the strength that was there on the day. Number two, I'm obviously not super thrilled about the third deadlift as far as like what went down with that. I'll get into details there. And then number three, I have mixed feelings on just where strength was for the day, right? Because basically the best way I can describe it is I felt great. So I weighed in at basically what is like around like 180 pounds exactly. I'll have it on screen exactly what my weight is, where I can't remember exactly what I weighed in at, but I know it's like 180 pounds. I weighed in the 180s, which was the goal. It's the heaviest that I've ever weighed in at. And by the time that I actually got onto the platform, probably was closer like, 182, 183. So competing closer to 83, even though I weighed in at like, I think like 81 point something, I believe. But anyway, I felt good. I felt healthy. I felt full. I felt strong. Objectively, just I'm the biggest I've ever been, right? So I felt really good in that regards. And I undeniably felt stronger than what I did the block before the meet, right? Like there's no doubt about that. Just, you can see it too in the speeds, right? Like even like just going with squats, when I was warming up, it felt really good, felt really automatic. The speed on my opener was great. Even the speed on my second, despite the bar rolling me a little bit, was really, really good, really, really solid. And it's one of these things where strength was in a good spot, but as far as the top end strength being where we thought it would be, it fell short, right? And going into the meet, like when me and Brad had our game day plan call, I told Brad, hey, on the day, man, regardless of how I feel, whatever I tell you, you make the calls that you think will set me up for the goal, which is to PR the total. Obviously, I'd like to PR the total by the biggest amount, but if it's even by 2.5, it's like I just need to PR the total. That's the biggest goal, right? That's what I've been working towards for this prep. So with that being the case, it was one of these things where, whatever number I gave Brad, it's like, hey, this is the number that I think I'm good for, and you do with that what you will. If you want to load that number, if you want to go below, if you think I'm good for more, whatever, right? So after my second attempt, went back and I told Brad, 255. I think that's what I'm good for. Keeping in mind the range we had planned for the day was like 255 to 260. So the fact that I only felt good for the lowest end wasn't a great sign already, but I still felt confident for it, right? And Brad's like, you know what? Let's do 252.5, PR match just to set you up for the day. And I was all good with that. And honestly, that was so cool. Like, shout out to Brad and to my client at B, who was also there to help handle me, because it's one of these things where I got to really just be an athlete for the day. And I love that, because even in other meets when I'm handled, particularly by people that aren't my coach brain is still kind of going. But with Brad being there and then a B also being there, I was able to just completely lock into athlete mode, man. Just have my music, have my headphones going, doing my own thing, not worrying, not giving pushback, not giving any feedback more than what I'm being asked. Like, hey, what do you think you're good for? Give him the number. All right, cool. He makes a call. Go back and get ready to go, right? And it was awesome. And in general, because of that, this is the most fun I've ever had competing, just straight up. Like, even other meets where Brad has been there, I feel like there's been certain stressors or things where I really wanted, whether it was like specific numbers, like at nationals, or Carolina Prime Time that really went really well, where I really want that 500 dots. Whereas with this, it's like, in my mind anyways, like, okay, yeah, I'm here to PR the total, but I have such a broad range to do that. I just got to beat 705, right? And if I feel like coming in, I'm good to hit maybe like 720, then it's like, we should be good, right? So I was able to just be very relaxed and enjoy and have fun with this. So I am grateful for that. But anyway, Brad put in 252.5, and it moved well. Like what I'll probably do is like you guys saw like the dynamic clips. I'll probably have some static clips popping up as we go. But yeah, basically like, speed on my opener was really, really good. Speed on the second was decent. And then with the third with 252.5, I'm glad that I gauged my body well because the way 252.5 moved was even though it was slower, it was smooth. And I didn't really have like my usual hard sticking point where I had to take forever to grind through it. So I do feel like 255 would have been there on the day. I still think 252.5 was the right call based on how my second moved, but it's good to know that I was gauging my body correctly as far as the squat, right? So once that happened, I'm like, okay, we're already below the range of threshold where we thought we'd be. That's okay. And in my mind, I'm thinking this might be one of those things where it really is about just PRing the total by whatever margin we can, not going after any particular number, which is the point anyway. But the hope is that you feel good for bigger numbers, you set yourself up, and then you can just take what you need on deadlifts, right? So that's what happened with squats. But I still was in good spirits. I still felt really good. I felt really confident. So I was excited to keep going from there. Then bench press, same thing. Opener felt like nothing. Was very, very easy. All my warms felt very good. My second attempt also felt really, really good. And even though there's a little bit of that slowdown at the top, for me, that relative speed with that type of weight, with 369 pounds on a second attempt, was great. So I'm like, all out, I think I'm good for like, 180. What I know for sure I could do though was like 177.5. So I told Brad, and I was like, what do you think? He's like, I think 177 or 175. And I was like, all right, you make the call. And he put in 175. Once again, just setting me up for what I would need total wise, right? Because with 252.5 and then 175, all I would need is 280, which is, mind you, 5 kilos below my best in comp already as far as deadlift, 280 kg, 617 pounds. It is 10 kilos below the most I've ever pulled in training, even though that was a while ago. And it was only 5 kilos over what I pulled this prep, which, as you guys know, we approach this prep very conservatively. So in my mind, it's like, all right, cool, I'm good with that. So went out, hit the 175, and very similar to the 252.5 on squat, where it's like good call, the right call. But in terms of do I feel like I could have had 2.5 more there and still moved it about the same? Absolutely. But it doesn't change the fact that it means that on the highest end, I would have been good for basically like the bottom options. Our range was really like 177 to 182.5. And once again, I felt really good about for like 177.5, right? So at this point, now we're just like, hey, it's just trying to finish the job and going for deadlifts. I'm not thinking about like, oh man, this sucks. Like I'm not as strong as what I thought I'd be on the day. Or like, I'm just happy that I feel good. Like I really did feel good. I felt strong. Even if the top end wasn't quite where I thought it would be, I felt strong. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling confident. Once again, still having a good time. Those of you who are watching the live stream, because I went back and watched it, you can see moments like when I'm behind the platform, just jamming out and having a good time. It was awesome. The energy was great. The energy of my fellow competitors on the platform was great. So I was in a good headspace. Opening deadlift flew as it should. It's like 230 kilos. So that was very, very easy. No issues there. And then I think we went with 262.5 for my second pull, I'm pretty sure. And that moved very, very well. The only thing is I got held a little bit at the top on that one. The reason being is, and on that lift, I got 2 whites and 1 red from the front. And the reason being is that from the front view, it didn't look like I was like fully locked out, even though the side judges, to them, it looked like I was locked out. So I believe part of what I was experiencing there was with just the amount of tension that I had, right? As well as being the heaviest I've ever been and having the proper tension and the SBD belt and stuff like that, it's almost like I couldn't quite gauge me where lockout was. Like in my mind, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm here because there's all this tension. I feel like I'm good. So went back after the second, talked to Brandon B, and Brandon B's like, yeah, just you can solidify a little bit more, like just really heavily like emphasize at the top and you'll be good. And I was like, I bet, say less, like put on whatever you think you need to put on. 282.5 would have given me 710, right? 280 is 707.5, which is once again, it's a 2.5 PR, the smallest margin I could PR the total by, but it's like, let's just secure it and let's finish the job. So on the 280, came in, and it's one of these things where in my mind, it's like, I know I've got this. It's not even a matter of if I'm going to get this or not. It's just a matter of making sure that I really solidify that lockout, right? Really sell the lockout. So I told Brad to be like, hey, when I get there, let me know I'm there. Like start screaming stuff like that. So, you guys already saw the dynamic angle. I have once again the clip here, but it's one of these things where it's okay. I get the slack out, I wedge, I drive through, and I can see as I'm wedging, I'm definitely kind of like twisted compared to usual. And I'm not sure what was really causing that, to be honest. I haven't gone back to really evaluate it. But either way, locked to the wedge. I'm driving through. I'm coming up, and like when I'm about halfway up, I'm like, oh yeah, I got this. And then once I get to the point of lockout, I hear Brad beeping like, you're there. And then also like my family, my friends, my clients, like everyone's like like standing up cheering, like it's there, it's done, right? So I lock out and I'm holding it, right? But then I'm still holding it. And for me, this is all I remember. I remember getting to the point of lockout, locking out, being internally hyped, and then I remember waking up trying to figure out, what's happening? What's going on? Did I get it? Did I not get it? Where are the lights? Because I blacked out at the top. Because essentially, when I got to the point of lockout, I was just holding it for so long at the top that eventually, I started to black out, knees started to buckle, lockout came undone, and I came down, I think, right as I was getting the down command. So unfortunately, I didn't actually get the down command, before I came undone and buckled down. So no white lights for that, right? And it sucks because it's like, it's one of these things where, I've watched from the live stream angle, I've watched from the dynamic angle, I watched it from the static angle, I've watched from various people's angles on their phones, stuff like that. And even pictures, I even look at the pictures that I got, like I have a picture of on screen, and it's like, I'm locked. Like in my mind, like I'm there, I'm locked. So I didn't understand why I didn't get the down command, because for me, it's like, even if the head judge at the moment didn't feel like I was locked at that moment, I wasn't going back any further. I wasn't locking out further. So like, hey, just give me the down command. And then it's like, hey, if you still let me from the front, cool, let's see what the side judges give me. Or if I get even one white, go to the jury, whatever, right? So it sucked in that sense of feeling like I did the job that I did, that I was supposed to do, that I executed the way I was supposed to do. But at the same time, it's like, well, you know what? If I had made that second more solidified, maybe she would have been looking to hold me at the top for the third one to make sure everything was solidified. So at the end of the day, man, it's like, I always try to tell people, hey, don't leave it in the hands of the judges. Obviously, the nature of our sport, it's always in the hands of the judges. There's only so much that can be done there because they ultimately do make the call, no matter how you execute. But it is what it is. Like, this is not me bashing the head judge or anything like that, because it's like, the call is what the call is. That's the part of our sport. At the end of the day, regardless of what I think, regardless of what I feel, regardless if I think like, hey, I locked, I feel like I should have the down command, the fact is I didn't, and therefore I did not complete the goal. I did not PR the total. I finished with 690, which is 10 kilos under my best. No, my bad, 15 kilos under my best, because that would have given me 707 and a half with the 280. So yeah, that's how things went. And ultimately, beyond just how things went with the deadlift and kind of mixed feelings there, the fact is, if I had been stronger on the day, then it wouldn't have come down to the last deadlift. I probably could have PR'd the total by the second pull and then just gone for where I've won on the third, right? That was what we were hoping for ideally. So yeah, it's one of these things where after talking about it and touching base and stuff like that, Brad and I basically feel like it was kind of like the opposite of what happened at Nationals. At Nationals, I came in overly cooked, kind of pushed too hard of a degree, and by the time I got there, I was a little bit too cooked. I was strong, but I was very fatigued, and we didn't get the fatigue off. Whereas this time around, we paced things very, very well in the way that I needed to pace things, especially based on my current lifestyle, with my second child being born and the newborn phase, stuff like that, along with everything else I have to do work-wise. But we probably should just ramp things up a little bit more aggressively, like on the block before, and even the block going into the meet, just a little bit more, whether that be like in the form of a little bit more intensity on the secondary days or whatever it may be, just a little bit more intensity. Volume was perfect, but just a little bit more of aggressive ramp up with the intensity, for the mere fact that we think I just came in a little bit flat. I was strong. I felt the strongest I've ever felt, and from how the opening and seconds moved on everything, it's like you can see it there. But as far as that true top end being where it needs to be, we just need like a little bit more stimulus to probably push me over the edge there. So that's on us ultimately at the end of the day, right? So yeah, that's kind of how things went. And in the moment, I was very upset about it. Like, it's one of these things where when meets don't go the way I want, I'm kind of bummed about it, but it's like, hey, if I wasn't strong enough or I wasn't this or wasn't that, it kind of is what it is. But I think in the moment, because I felt like I had achieved the goal, I felt like, hey, I felt like that lockout was clean. I felt like I was good. Looking at all these different angles, talking to all these different people, said it was good. Even talking to some of the other refs that were there, it's like, yeah, if we would have gotten the down command, So it's just one of those things where, it hit me very hard, because it's like, I really, really wanted it, right? I really, really wanted to achieve that goal. But it's one of those things where I let myself feel I need to feel. And of course, I let myself process way more the next day and the day after. But in the moment, it's like, okay, it's okay to feel upset about this. But at the end of the day, I had fun. I did the best I could with the strength I had on the day. And God is sovereign regardless, right? We can always pray for like, oh Lord, let this happen or this happen. But ultimately, like my prayers are like, Lord, it'd be cool if this goes down, but ultimately, not my will, your will be done. And even if I can't always see or understand why, I understand that sometimes the result that we get, even if it's not what we want, is a result that is needed, whether it be for me or for the sake of somebody else. I don't know. And a lot of y'all might be thinking like, man, it's just powerful. God doesn't care about that. I'm not gonna get into all that theologically, but it's like God is in control of all things collectively. The good, the bad, everything in between, right? So it's like whatever happens is because he causes it or allows it. That happened, so I have to take peace and solace of that and kind of just keep it moving, right? And beyond that, it's the fact that I still had to get my headspace right to handle my lifters in the primetime session afterwards, as far as handling Sean, Ashton, and Bob. I really had to make sure that I did that. So due to that fact, it was one of these things where it's like, you can be upset about this later, you can evaluate it later, you got to just lock in, go home, shower, get some food in real quick, and then come back and get the job done. And thankfully, we did. If y'all watched it, y'all know how the primetime went. It was great. Great, great, great. I could do a whole separate video about that, so I'm not going to get too much to that here because it's about your boy right now. But yeah, team showed out. Very, very happy. Very, very proud. And not even just the primetime session, but in the open session, my client Teresa also showed out. Went 9 for 9, PR'd everything. It was. She had a great day. Super meet. So it's one of those things where I was still able to enjoy the day as a whole, and was still able to enjoy the celebration. We all went to eat afterwards because it's like, even though I didn't quite have the day that I wanted, I still had a really good day. Still went 8 for 9. And in my mind, it's like, even though I didn't get to officially achieve the goal on paper, the purpose behind what I was trying to do, as far as showing you guys like, hey, push through, set a goal for yourself. You can place as much value in this as you want. You don't have to be world champion, national champion to get enjoyment, fulfillment out of doing this. Just set a goal and work towards it. I think that was accomplished just from the amount of people who came up to me and were like thanking me for the prep series and thanking me for like my episode on King of the Lifts and saying how, hey man, you motivated me and pushed me to come and actually do this meet, or I've been going through something else in life outside of powerlifting and you motivated me to push through and not give up, or hey man, I got so many DMs to me like, you offer me a new perspective on how I look at when I'm going through trials and tribulations, circumstances in my life that aren't ideal. So I'm so happy and so blessed, because at the end of the day, that type of impact matters far more than any total. Not to be dismissive of the fact that I wanted that total, but it's just one of these things where it's like, the day is what it was, and I learned from it, and I just got to keep it moving. So yeah, like I said, it was a good day overall. Strength wasn't quite where I wanted to be on the day, but the right calls were made, and just couldn't fully execute all the way at the very end there. Because at the end of the day, that is how I look at it. It's like, regardless of what I think, like, oh, I think she got a down command, I got a down command, I did not execute the way that I should have on that final pull. I have hit 280 far cleaner than that before, both in training and then above that on the platform. So I got to be so on point and execute to a point where it's just undeniable. And that way, you know, even though it's still in the judge's hands, they will look upon me favorably. That's how I look at it at the end of the day. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are my thoughts with everything. And I'm just grateful, man. I'm grateful. It's one of these things where I wish I could describe to you guys what it meant to me to, for each attempt, come out there and look at the audience and see my family, from, you know, my parents to my sister to my wife to my kids, seeing so many friends who came to watch, clients who weren't even competing at the meet who came to watch, and clients who were going to be at the prime time who woke up early to come watch. Teammates, like, you know, Steve was there, and then John Song, my teammates who were there supporting as well. Colleagues, right? Just like fellow coaches, like people of all these different connections I've made in my time in this space, who came just to watch me do my thing, who woke up early for the morning session, which we just know objectively isn't going to be as high as the prime time, to come watch me do my thing. I wish I could describe to you guys like what that truly means to me, because the amount of love and support that I get from this community, it does make me feel like I'm like a world-class. I feel like someone would go to Worlds, which, hey, you put me in another country, maybe I could, right? But ultimately, it was just very satisfying. It was very overwhelming in a good way. Like, the energy that I had for that morning session was unmatched because of just hearing the voices of everybody there's, you know, calling my name and supporting me and stuff like that. It was awesome. So I had a great time. It was an amazing experience. I have zero regrets. And even though I didn't quite get the result that I wanted, I'm still happy with the outcome of the day, I guess, is the best way I can put it. Like, where things finished wasn't where I wanted it to be, but when I take the time to look back at everything, it's like, I'm proud of myself. proud of my coach, and just very, very grateful for the experience as a whole. As for what's coming next, I don't know. We'll see. We gotta wait and see. Any time to think about what I want to do, how I want to approach things. But either way, I appreciate you guys so much for coming along with me on this prep series, coming along with me on this journey. I just appreciate the support that I get from this community as a whole, but especially here on YouTube. Like I tell people all the time, the coaching and the SBD and CrossFit, all that, none of that happens if not for YouTube. And there's a lot of you guys reading the comments, you've been watching me for years. Some of you are newer here, but regardless if you started watching me recently or when I first started the channel, I'm very, very grateful and appreciative to all of you. So thank you so much for joining me during this prep series. Thank you for just all the love and support, and I'm grateful for all the lessons and things I've experienced over this decade of craft, these 10 years. Because regardless of how the meet went, like what I have gained through my experience of 10 years of doing this sport and coaching in this sport is something I'm very grateful for, because God has definitely used it to help further shape and mold and refine me as a person and other aspects of life as well. So yeah. But with that being said, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, go leave a comment down below. Let me know what you did. If not, leave a comment down below. Let me know what I can get better. Like the video, share, subscribe. Keep it simple, specific, scientific. I'll catch you guys later.